What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and yes, I'm smiling. Yes, I'm always jovial, but I'm not 100% happy because Manchester United went away to another away game in a row, and another 2-all draw in a row. And for me, I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little annoyed with the result, honestly, because it's just the same kind of shit that we've seen a couple times now. Same kind of stuff we saw against Forest as well. I mean, I just copy paste the Forest three thoughts, and you might do the same thing. But it's just the same kind of issues. We're going to dive into that a little bit today, because for the second match in a row, I do think we gave the home side a bit too much respect, a little too much control. We were kind of on the back foot of thought a little too much. And then for the second match in a row, I think that is what's led us to us dropping points, because I don't think that the intensity that we saw against Sunderland, Liverpool, and Brighton, I don't see that it was there. And I do think that that's what cost us. It's okay to be pragmatic, but it's not okay to be passive. And I think there's a balance there to be found, and I think we're still trying to tweak that. But all four goals today, even the ones that we scored against Spurs, I thought they were all preventable with just a little bit more kind of alert and more intense and just better overall defending. I thought that all four goals just were sloppy defending, to be honest. So we'll dive into that a little bit more too. But today is more about the overall kind of tactics and team selection. And obviously, I want your help doing player ratings. Tomorrow, we'll dive a little bit deeper into the numbers and some of the individual performances. And obviously, I give my three thoughts. So come back tomorrow for that. But today, it is overall performance and player ratings, because I want to know what you made of some of that, because some big changes today from Ruben Amorim, some big personnel changes, some key team tactics, team selection issues that popped up today. So that's what we're going to do today, you guys. So make sure you're liking, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure that you check out those memberships when you get a second. It is the best way to get super involved in the content. Let's dive in. First and foremost, I always have to go check out who's involved in the chat today. So who's in here joining me today, you guys? Hope you guys are having a good Saturday morning. It's always fun getting up early for that. I went to Big Up Box. Went over to Bill's house today with Justin. Justin brought his kid, who was rocking the jersey, by the way. Big up Cheeks. But yeah, 7:30. Saved by Bill's just phenomenal food. Bill always hooks us up, man. This some flame ass, like these sausages with like cheddar and jalapeno. I had like 3 of those, probably about 5 or 6 blueberry pancakes. Yeah, we were going ham on that, which always does make these kind of performances go down a little easier. But Big Up Box. And I did put a poll in the chat. I want to know what you guys made of that result. Were we lucky to get back the point? Were we foolish to drop the points? Or do you think over on balance, it was just a fair result for both sides? Let me know your thoughts. Box says it's fair. Box says we were too negative in the second half, set off too deep, asking for trouble. Yeah, I probably said that, Box, like 7-8 times in that second half. Again, like I said to start, I thought we were just a little too passive, giving them a little too much respect, just like we did Forest. It was like we were just waiting to invite them in. And you could see, too, I mean, Amorim's known for that a little bit, kind of passing around a little bit at times, trying to invite the pressure, open up the space in behind. When we're sitting with 7 players in our box defending, I don't know, I felt like we were just asking for trouble. I didn't trust our ability to clear the dangers enough in that situation. So Box says probably would have had back-to-back losses at Spurs and Forest if this was the last few seasons. Yeah, we said that against Forest last week. We probably lose that game last year. Sanchi's in the house. Big up, Sanchi. Good to see you again. Hope you guys are having a good day, man. Sanchi says, put your hand in your heart and reply. Were you not irritated we could not sub it? I mean, everyone's irritated about that. I mean, no one likes to be in a situation where we're down to 10 men and we can't make subs because of injuries. I mean, no one likes that. Everyone's going to be annoyed. I was super annoyed by that. There's not much you can do. You can't plan, and also you definitely can't take action based on every single contingency. Managing is just about sometimes rolling the dice, given the information you have in the moment, and then working with that. It is what it is. No one plans for, Maguire, Casemiro, and Shesko to come on. I mean, Shesko was a sub. He was on for 20 minutes, had to get taken off again. No one plans for that kind of stuff. And so it is what it is. It's unfortunate. It's anyone's guess if we would have conceded those goals had we had, 11 men on the pitch. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. We'll never know. Welcome back, Sanchi, though. Good to see you. Rob's in the house, says going off Seshko going off was a huge blow. Rescued a result. Yeah, I thought we did well. I think that's where I do give us credit is just not letting the heads drop, not backing down, not kind of giving up. I do think, like Bach said last year, we could have easily just kind of shrunk into ourselves. And I think that, again, echoes what I've said now for a couple of weeks and what I said on the Kickabout this week. I've seen a little bit of a mentality shift. Yes, we still switch off in key moments, which I do think cost us. But I think overall, the mentality, the resilience is much, much better. And that was been one of my biggest complaints over a couple of years now, even under Ten Hag. And that's more of an individual player thing. It's not simple and easy just to get players to just show resilience. Resilience is difficult. That's something that people work on for a while. It takes a lot of time to start building resilience and stuff. So it's not easy. But Obi, what's up, Obi? Can I catch one of your streams? Big up. Happy with the draw. 11 points out of 15 is a huge improvement. Yeah, it is big. I like that. We do need midfielders, though. Right wing back, yeah, we need a lot. We need a lot of help. But welcome back, man. Good to see you again. Bexy's in the house. Again, not that deep. Spurs with Frank will be a force. Again, you slap Anderson in midfield, legit left back. United win that game. I thought Dorgu did well today, to be honest. We're gonna do player ratings here in a little while, though, but I thought Dorgu did well. I thought he was much better than Dalo's been, especially just defending in 1v1s. I think that if Dalo were there for 90 minutes, Dalo would started, we would have conceded way more crosses in the box. I thought Dorgu did an excellent job of just closing down the ball, putting pressure on it, forcing throw-ins and stuff when we would have conceded a lot of crosses. But I hear you. I do. And I mean, I've said maybe we need a more experienced left back because I do think Dorgu is not the finished article yet. He's still very raw, especially when it comes to like his cross delivery and stuff. But as far as mentality, his athleticism, his stamina, his intensity, he's one of the best in the team right now as far as that goes. Way better than Dalo in those 1v1s. But I did do a video earlier in the week on a left back I think is gettable in January, who was apparently available for sale in the summer, who I've talked about before, but he ticks a lot of boxes. Go check out that video from earlier this week if you guys haven't yet. Slash, welcome back, Slash. Slash has been a regular this week. He's been gone for a minute, but he's back. Disappointed with the result, he says. Unbeaten in 5 is still progress. Yeah, it is. The fixtures are a lot more favorable after the break. Let's just hope that we don't pick up any injuries. You guys know how I feel about international break. Never like going in international break. This feels like we've got one like every couple of weeks right now. I'm super annoyed by it. Just no injuries. Maybe Casemiro was a precaution. Maybe it's international break flu. I don't know. Let's see here. Obi says, from everything I've seen from Šeško, he's struggling like Højlund did. Are we also failing Šeško? It's early. I mean, he is a natural striker. He's also he's young, so I'll give him that. And I thought today I thought he looked a little slow. And you can definitely tell his confidence is a little shaky right now, taking how many touches to maybe get that shot away when a striker who's in form and confidence, it's one touch, take a shot. And we saw this from Højlund as well. So I totally agree with what you're saying in that regard, because there was that period where Højlund was getting a lot of criticism and just taking too many touches. And you can't take that many touches, especially when against a defender like Van de Ven, who just pops out of nowhere to get a foot on and make a challenge. You got to get that shot away and then deal with it. At least if you're getting a shot away, you're just getting that muscle memory back in there. Nota's in the house. Fair result. Frank has made Spurs into a decent team. They will be fuming after throwing it away. Well, yeah, against 10 men, yeah, I would be frustrated if I were Spurs as well. Big up, Danny. Danny's in the house. How's everyone doing? Does anybody besides me rock a jersey on match day? Literally every man. I don't care where I am. If I'm at home by myself, if I'm at Bill's, if I'm at a pub, it's jerseys for me. Today I'm rocking the 0102. I love this thing. I've been trying to find one of these for a while. Finally got a hold of one a few months back. You guys remember when I first got it? Love it. Box says, I feel Šeško is an all-around better player. Yeah, I definitely agree he's a better player. He's kind of slow. Hold up play. Yeah, he'll get there. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest with you. Red Devil Radar, welcome. I really hope that's a MASH reference. That is my favorite show. For those of you who wonder what my favorite show is when I say it, I've said it a couple times, but maybe one day we'll do some trivia. We'll do like a trivia stream or something and do some giveaways, and that will be one of the answers. You never know, but yes, MASH is my favorite show. So if that is a MASH reference, then you, sir, win the internet today, or ma'am, whatever. Big up, everyone's just getting involved. Obi says, I think Xerxes is better than Shesko at hold up play and feeding others. Yeah, he's definitely not a 9. Xerxes, Amorim's also said, he plays like Cunha. It's interesting that Xerxes didn't start. If we were just going to play a false 9 today, well, why not Xerxes? Why not give Xerxes some minutes? Push Cunha up there. I thought maybe Xerxes as a 9 could have kept the overall momentum and the overall rhythm that we've been establishing. You could have, if you're going to bench Shesko, fine. Maybe just put Xerxes in instead of Cunha, because I didn't think Cunha had a great game today, personally. So it's just, again, interesting. Yeah, dude, Danny, yeah, spot on. I thought Dorgu was excellent today. Again, we're gonna go through each player as we do the player ratings here shortly, but I want us to first talk about team selection. I want to talk about a little bit of the general tactics, a little comment that Amorim had to say as well. So, yeah, if he continues to develop, just work on that end product, he could be very. People forget he just turned 21 like last week, so he's still very, very, very young. Haven't seen any updates. Amorim's really only said that he felt something in his knee. He looked like he was limping going off. He was walking fine, like as in like on his own power and stuff, but he's definitely felt something in his knee. Maybe just contact. Maybe he just stepped on it wrong. I hope it wasn't any sort of ligament issue, because it didn't see any contact. Anybody see any contact with the issue that Shesko got? Because I didn't see contact, but I was also kind of half watching at that point because I was stuffing my face with some freaking awesome sausage. It was amazing. So Rob's out here pumping up some tires. Big up, man. Xerxes is not good enough. Well, it's hard now because we're not even seeing him play anymore, and so it's hard to see. He's had some brilliant moments, Xerxes, but he's definitely not a 9. He's definitely not going to be the guy who's going to get you 20 goals a season. I don't even think he's got 15 goals a season, honestly. Maybe if we were in 4 competitions and we went deep into all those competitions and Xerxes got some decent minutes, I can maybe see him pushing 15 goals all comps, but I don't see him as that. He is more of that false 9, that 9.5. So if you guys want to go get yourself a 9.5 shirt from the UVE store, there is a link to the store in the pinned comment, but it's in there. If you want your Mbumo shirt too to celebrate another goal, those Mbumo shirts are going like hotcakes right now. People are hyped up because he's got 5 goals now in the league. People are snatching those up real quick. And there's an endless supply. I don't have a bunch of Mbumo shirts sitting here. They are literally print on demand. Y'all go order them. They come straight to your house. They're awesome. So let's see. Ryan's in the house. Big up. Morning. Be honest, Dorgu ain't good enough. And Amorim, in-game management. I think Dorgu, I can see there's some truth in that he's not good enough to start. But I just think he's young. He's still raw. I don't think he's the starter right now. So I do think we need someone better than Dallo, and I need someone who's maybe older to come in and switch up and take over that spot maybe a little bit, and Dorgu can come on as well. I think Dorgu will be fine, but he's still very young, and so we're going to see what happens there. Obi thinks we lack leadership, intelligence, communication between right wing back, center midfield. Yeah, I think so. Mizraoui started today, which I don't have a problem with it. He's older, he's a leader. I mean, we've had a lot of leaders on the pitch: Casemiro, Bruno De Ligt, Shaw, Maguire, Mizraoui is all on the pitch. And even in Mbumo and Cunha, these guys are 25, 26 years old. I do think we had a decent number of experience on the pitch. I just think today we were just a little too passive. I don't know if we don't tend to travel well. I mean, we saw that against Forest too. We were a little tired, a little just not quite out of first gear quite yet, unfortunately. So, yeah, YouTube has changed everyone's names. I only see the ats. I don't see everybody's nicknames. So it is what it is, man. Slash says that's now 3 games in a row that's fallen apart. And yeah, the substitutions have not been helping us. I don't know if it's. What do you guys think when it comes to the bench? Is it that it changes like the rhythm of the game itself, or do you think that the bench is just maybe not as good as we maybe thought it was? I know some of us, including myself at times, even this season, have said, yeah, our bench is stronger, which can still be true. It's stronger than it was last season, but is it strong enough? Is the floor in the squad high enough still? Or are we still just seeing a massive drop off? Brighton, we were up by 2. We made subs, conceded 2 goals. Grimsby, a lot of the guys who are subs started that match, struggled in that match. We come on today, like someone says, Ugarte is not Casemiro. He's just not. too many times he's just not good enough on the ball. He had a good moment where he to his credit, did kind of get out of trouble. He had two Spurs players on him, and he managed to get out of trouble. But more often than not, his positioning, his touch, it's just not good enough. And so we do need to just kind of move on from him. I do think. Big up, Bilal. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Debasi's in the house. Yeah, dude, I said that earlier. Yeah, Shesko, today it definitely looks like the criticism is getting to him. The confidence, it's just too many touches, and that's kind of a telltale sign about it. Buck says Neville just seems like he's always got to have something to focus on, for good or bad. Neville just seems like he's got to just have something. It's like he needs something that's labeled, that's kind of collated, that's something simple that he can focus on. I don't know what it is with him, but it is what it is. Sanchi, you know that if you've been doing the channel for a while, when I do giveaways, I don't care where you live. It's not about doing it on a budget. It's about doing it. And so it's about showing appreciation for people who are just supporting the channel and helping it grow. When I do giveaways, I don't care, dude. I've sent some giveaways to Malaysia. I've sent them to the other side of the US. I don't have a problem with it. It's not about that. So when we do giveaways, everything's up for grabs, man. If we get to 3K before Dylan and I go to Manchester in December, I will do a giveaway. The winner gets whatever they want from the Megastore, because I'm going to be in Manchester. I'm just going to go to the Megastore, and whatever you guys want, I'm going to get it for you. So, Darko's in the house. Your top mod can time out for me for saying loudly amorim out. I don't know what top mod is. The mods, I trust the mods to do what they got to do. If anyone's spamming, if anyone's being just disrespectful, or you guys have good heads on your shoulders, right? Let's all be disrespectful and do what you got to do. The mods, just, you know what to do, mods. I trust the mods. Darko, if you feel like you've been wrongly timed out, I will do my best. I don't always look at the chat. I can't see on one screen what happens when people get timeout, because that's on another screen. And so do what I can, but I trust the mods. That's what they're here for. So they do a lot of that work for me, so I can just continue to kind of facilitate the conversation. So if you're being respectful and you're not spamming, then more power to you. If you are, you're going to get timed out. But welcome back, Darko. Good to see you again, man. Box says Cunha, his best games have been Arsenal. I mean, he had a good game against Brighton. You know, he got his goal and stuff. I do think he can try a little too hard sometimes, but I think that we also like that about him. But that's something that even in life, sometimes the things that you're good at, there can be kind of almost like a dark side to it. Like, let's say you're generous, like with your money. It can be negative in the sense that you're just giving away your money too much to where it hurts you financially. Maybe you're giving people who just aren't good with money. Like, I don't tend to lend money to people who are just not good at it, because it's just going to be a waste of money. So things like that, generosity with time, like without boundaries, that can be a detriment. You don't want to be the kind of person who sets yourself on fire to keep other people warm always. That's not going to help. And so, yeah, Cunha's best attributes can sometimes be a detriment, because he can try a little too hard sometimes. He holds on to the ball a little too long. Maybe he's out of position sometimes. But it's one of those things, if you can harness it, you can harness the power, you can harness the strength, you can use them for your own good. And so he'll get there. I'm not too worried about Cunha. I feel much more confident with him on the pitch. He's going to have an off game now and then. Everybody is. It just is what it is. But I thought he was good against Brighton. But let's see what we got here. Box says no Maguire, no party. Sanchez, yeah. And this is what I was saying to Bill. Like, we were kind of talking a little bit about making all these subs. Usually Amorim just makes defensive subs. Today he kind of went a little all out a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if he was just hearing what people were saying, if he thought that people need. But I made a point, like, you have to keep the subs match fit. Like, you can't just go full Zinedine Zidane at Madrid and just never play anyone besides your starting 11, because you need players to be match fit, because you don't know what's going to happen with injuries. You got AFCON, we got the FA Cup coming up shortly. Everyone's got to be match fit. Otherwise, when you do keep bringing your subs on, you do see a drop off in quality. And it's just hard. And that's where it becomes difficult for managers. Like, when do I make these subs? I mean, he made the three-man substitution at once. And when is the last time we saw that happen other than a friendly in preseason? So, I mean, I get it. The same point, I also get what he said the other week about not wanting to ruin things by making too many changes. I hear both. It's almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he doesn't make many subs, people criticize it. If he makes them, we see a drop off. People criticize it. It is what it is, man. You're going to get criticized no matter what. You just got to do what you think is best for the team, man. And so I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. So Obi wants Elliot. So do I, man. If there's any possibility of getting Elliot Anderson in January, we just need to do it and just figure out the finances later. At this point, here's a question: Would you sell Kabi Manu in January if it meant you could get Elliot Anderson? Discuss. Let me know what you think. Bilal says we might not have a striker 6 months. I haven't seen any updates on Shesko. Somebody let me know if there's been any updates. He looked like he was doing fine. It didn't look like there was much in it. I didn't really even see any contact, which is sometimes it's a worry. If there was contact, then it was very minimal, like knee-to-knee contact or something. But we'll see what happens. So Slash thinks that Shesko. Yeah, I think Shesko will be fine. I'm not too worried about Shesko. I feel more comfortable with Shesko than I did with Hoyland, if that makes any sense. But doesn't mean I think he's world class. He's still also a young striker. So Trini says, I'm just happy. Welcome, Trini. We didn't lose, but I will never have faith in this manager. We can't get to feel how second the league is on. Well, we're getting there. I mean, 5 games unbeaten is pretty good. It's a pretty good run. Like someone said, 11 points out of 15 is pretty decent. I think any side right now would be ecstatic to go 11 out of 15 in 5 games unbeaten. I think that's a pretty good return. I do think that the passivity, the stepping off, the back foot, the lack, the kind of the decrease in intensity we've seen today and against Forest, I do think that played a role in this as well. Tabasi says the midfield cost us the first goal. Thought we were fighting a little too much for the second ball too often, and we weren't really winning the second ball often enough, which we were swarming around that ball, and it left us pretty exposed. So I don't know if that's a tactical thing or if that's just an individual kind of error kind of a thing. Let's see. Big up, Jarvis. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well, Jarvis. Hope you are having a good Saturday. What time is it for you guys in kickoff? It's 7:30 a.m. for me for today's game, so I'm tired. I'm probably going to get some more coffee here in a second. But Obi says, Sean, would you take Lewandowski for a year? Probably not. He's pretty injury prone these days. If there's an older striker that I would take, oh, that's a good question. I don't know if there's an older striker. I mean, I would take Harry Kane for a couple of years. I just didn't want to pay a lot of money for Harry Kane, to be honest with you. So I'm not all about that life. But yeah, I wouldn't take Lewandowski because I just think he's going to be on big wages and he's injured a lot. So Hackney. Speaking of Hackney, anyone on Hayden Hackney watch? I was watching Middlesbrough's match. He did get a second goal for Middlesbrough first half to make it 2-1 going into halftime. It was a silky little touch, a flick to score. So anyone who's on permanent Hackney watch like me, he's got himself another goal today. So Adrian, welcome back, says the subs come in and blow the game every time. Yeah, and so I asked the question, is that an Amorim thing or is that just the lack of depth thing? Adrian says, yes, sell Manu if it meant get Anderson. Interesting. Trinity says Amorim will bench Anderson. Oh, you guys are funny. Jarvis says, I'm not too disappointed. 2-2 was fair. We could have easily lost the game. It worries me we can't kill the game on 1-0. Yeah, and I literally said that, and I've said that a couple times now, but I said that while I was watching the game today. I think my most nervous when I'm watching United play right now is when we have a 1-goal lead and it's within like the final 10 minutes because I feel like sometimes I get it. You don't want to be too aggressive and leave the space, but I think we almost go too far in the opposite direction and we just kind of are a little too passive. We invite that pressure. We have to try to like weather the storm. And I'm like, I just feel like there's a fine balance. You can be pragmatic, you can be compact at the same time. You do have to put more pressure on the ball than we do. I think we just let those balls come into our box far too frequently, and we're not great at defending them, unfortunately. And so Adrian woke up at 4:30 a.m. Jeez. That sucks. Sorry. Tabasi says, I'm happy with a draw against a team who's beaten us 3 seasons. Yeah. Spurs do have our number a little bit. Thomas Frank, I feel like, has our number a little bit. But again, I'm never one of these people who like goes back historically and is like, yes, out of the last 30 meetings, and I'm like, it's irrelevant. It's different managers, different players. Like, I'll look at the last couple of years, especially when it's the same manager. Like today was different because it's a completely different manager and there's a lot of different players, and so it is what it is. But it was kind of a perfect storm of combination there. So yes, please hit that like button, you guys. Please subscribe. I'm not even into the tactics and the player ratings yet because we're having so much fun just chatting in the chat right now. So I'm here for it, though. I got nothing but time today. All I got to do is laundry, and my ass don't want to get in a hurry to go do any laundry. So, let's see. Yeah, we do need some help a little bit, but it wasn't. He went off. He was only on the pitch for a little while. It wasn't on that much. So I do think we are improving, Bexy. I do think that we do look better. But the problem is the issues that we have seem to be the same issues. Like I said it against Forest, the same kind of issues, unfortunately. So, Danny says it's on Ineos. We should be 5-6 points better off this season if they have backed him properly, or if we had just maybe moved a little quicker in the summer. Like there was hope, right, when we went in early and got Cunha. We took advantage of the earlier transfer window, but then we just waited too long to get Mbumo, to get Shesko, to get Lamens. These guys should have all been on preseason. They should have all been starting from day one. And that's, to me, is what I think we had a good summer, personally. I think those 4 players are excellent players, probably among the best we could have gotten. I think Mbumo has been the signing of the summer, personally. I just think we need to make those signings sooner, especially nowadays with these tactical managers who are like, nope, the players need to get up to speed. They need to learn my system. Like, I don't necessarily if I agree with that 100%, but if you know that about the manager, then you need to move quicker to get these players in to compensate for that. So it's just annoying, man. Let's see. Oh, he says, last question, would you take Ruben Neves? So interestingly enough, if you caught my my January deal video from a couple weeks back, Ruben Neves was listed in one of my options as a January deal. He's out of contract in the summer. He knows the Premier League. He's still 27, 28. I think he's an upgrade on Casemiro in midfield, and that's not me saying Casemiro is bad. I just think Ruben Neves right now is better. I've always loved Ruben Neves. He's someone I wanted at United for years. I was gutted when he chose to go to the Saudi League because I thought he would be excellent. He's a leader as well. This guy was captaining Porto when he was a young teenager. And then he went into Wolves and does well. He's got a good shot. He's strong. I love Ruben Neves. You guys know that. I would just wanted him like 3 years ago and not now, but it is what it is. But for like 3 or 4 years, maybe even 5, I think Ruben Neves can do what Casemiro is doing and do just fine. But it's not me. I'm not in charge, unfortunately. Lawrence Burry, welcome, big up, and a nervy, erratic game. The holy grail is getting a second goal in the second half for away games. Yeah, you can almost put your house on it, huh? Late header from a defender, huh? Rob says Shaw's been here 30. It feels like it, doesn't it? Feels like Shaw's been here forever. DeBasi says manager out chance. Yeah, I don't hear it on the television. It'll be interesting. And to be honest, I've not heard it when I didn't hear it when I was there last year. Even against Brighton, I didn't hear any amorim out chance, and I was pretty close to the dugout for Brighton. We're actually literally across the aisle from where all the journalists sit. So I did chat with Jamie Jackson for a hot second because he actually remembered me from when I was there before. But I think that I don't know. I think the amorim out stuff, the most time I hear that is literally on social media. I've not heard it anywhere else personally. Finally, dude, I've loved Ruben Neves for a very, very long time. He's such a good player. Let's see. Notice you. Well, hey, maybe you and I are the same person, but yeah, I have my eye on a lot of players. You guys know I do a lot of scouting reports. There are a ton of midfielders out there. There are a ton of players, even if they're a little older, I think could do a job for us. But it's not my money. I'm not the one making the decisions, unfortunately. But I do think for a couple seasons, for sure, Ruben Neves could definitely do a job. Would he be my first choice? No, it would not be my first choice. I'm still going like Stiller and Anderson as my first choice midfielders. I did a deep dive on Angelo Stiller earlier in the week. If you guys want to go learn a little bit more about what Angelo Stiller is all about and what he could bring to United, go check out that video. But I do think Stiller and Anderson would be an excellent partnership. But I wouldn't say no to Neves, but he wouldn't be my first choice, and I just don't want that. Yeah, we did a scouting report on Lennon Miller a while back. For a while there, it was Lennon Miller and Hayden Hackney were my choices too. But I do like Lennon Miller a lot. We did a scouting report on him. I don't know, Danny, when did we do that scouting report? It was definitely last season. It was probably in like March, April-ish, May or something. We did a scouting report on Lennon Miller. But he's a very good young midfielder. Where did he end up going? He went to Udinese, I believe, from Motherwell. He was at Motherwell, right? Still a young player. What is he, only 18 now? Good player. I like Lennon Miller a lot. Good kind of profile of what we're looking for in midfield too, I think. 5 games unbeaten. Yeah, I would have definitely taken that. I would definitely not have said we would have been gone 5 games unbeaten for a while. So let's talk a little of the team news and tactics, you guys. So make sure you're liking. So ahead of this one, obviously I put out that short yesterday because there was some of that footage going around in some reports. I think it was from Stephen Railston talking about, the team was at the train station. I thought it was a bus. Apparently it was a train station. But look at that. They take the train just like we do. Look at that. But Mainu not spotted with the squad. Come to find out after a load of speculation, because we didn't know until late last night. Sounds like he picked up a little bit of a minor knock in training, Cubby. So there's that. But hey, didn't see the record, the academy graduate record leave, because Jack Fletcher was added to the bench today in Mainu's stead. So big up Jack Fletcher for getting picked in there. Obviously didn't get any minutes, but it's good to see him. Could have been maybe nice to see him come on instead of Ugarte. You guys decide maybe if he would have done better than Ugarte personally, but I think anybody could do better than Ugarte. But yeah, Shesko on the bench again. Again, I don't know if that was a tactical thing or maybe if it had something to do with Chesko's confidence being low. We could clearly see his confidence was taking a hit. So maybe Amorim was going that route. Maybe he was just giving him some time to rest and relax a little bit. But yeah, no Shesko in the starting 11. I don't get the Shesko hate, to be honest with you. I know some people don't rate him. I know Gary Neville seems to nitpick a little bit. It is what it is. Everybody's going to look at the game differently. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just more patient. I don't know. It sounds like a like a humble brag. It's not meant to be. It's me just saying, am I too patient? You guys tell me. But Cunha took his place in the false nine, which we've seen before. What that meant, though, is that Ahmad was kind of moved into the right 10. Mazraoui took over at wing back, which I don't have a problem with necessarily. But what people were not happy with was that Mbeumo got pushed to the left a little bit, and a lot of people were not happy with that, which I get. I don't know why you would completely change things up. I thought maybe Ahmad being left-footed would have done a good job. If there were two players, if there was a player that I wouldn't have wanted to be moved out of position, though, it probably would have been Mbeumo. Now, fair play, you can say maybe if he's the better player, he should be able to handle a position change a little bit more. It's up to you how you want to look at that. He did get a goal, so it is what it is. There is a little fluidity in the attack sometimes, so it's not as if it's rigid. It's not like on paper that's the way it is the whole match, even though if you look at the average position, which I'll show you in a little while, we did have a good shape. But yeah, people were not happy about that, especially when we made the sub and Mbeumo stayed on the left. Maguire over Euro today as well was another change. So a few changes today, and then obviously Dorgu took over for Dallo, which in my opinion was the right call. You guys remember my 11. My 11s are like a combination of me not thinking Amorim is going to do what maybe I want, but also maybe what I want. So I had Mazraoui actually starting on the left over Dallo because I just didn't think Dorgu was going to start. But so I don't know what you guys made of the team selection today. What are you guys saying here? Bach says you wouldn't have minded seeing Jack Fletcher come on. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Yeah, we did cover him a couple times. I did a deep dive scouting report on him last spring. I just don't remember when it was. Now I've started, instead of doing scouting reports in these videos, I've just saved like 5-6 of them for one massive scouting report video. So I've got another one coming out over the international break. And like I said in the short yesterday, I've spent most of the day yesterday going through the academy and our loanees, our young loanees, one by one, and we'll do a deep dive loan watch and academy watch video probably next week. So if you're into the academy, if you want to know how these guys are getting on, how people are performing so far this year, that's what we're going to do in that video. I've gone through the vast majority of it, not all the academy players, because it's just not all the under 18s, for instance. Most of the under 21s, some of the under 18s. We'll be doing a deep dive in that. But yeah, I do love a scouting report. Obi, I do a lot of because I appreciate that, man. I'm glad that there are people who like the scouting reports. I know not everyone likes them. It's fine. That's why I've started making them their own separate things now, so you can kind of pick and choose. But I do like them, and so I'm always constantly scouting. I'm a bit of a nerd. You guys know I've done PFSA talent identification and FA talent identification. I just like it, so it is what it is. So um, Danny never wanted Ugarte. Yeah, I think I liked Ugarte. It's just clearly we're seeing that there's a reason. Maybe Amorim was so quick to maybe let him go when he was at Sporting. Maybe there's a reason PSG were so quick to let him go. It is what it is. He could have been better if he just worked on his on the ball skills. He could be so good. It just isn't what it is. So, um, Obi says, for me, Shesko, I know it takes around 6 months to a player to fit, but when you loan out your only striker, Hoyland, spend 75 million on Shesko, another kid. Yeah, I mean, it's always a roll of the dice, like I said, and I think there's always going to be more questions and answers, and you never know how a signing is going to work out. You just don't. I mean, Gyökeres struggled. He was arguably one of the best strikers in the world last season. He's struggled a bit. He's definitely not putting up the numbers. What has Isak done at Liverpool since making the move? I mean, you never know. Even great players, they do struggle, and so I think that the fact that Shesko hasn't scored 10 goals. I mean, he's only started half a dozen matches. He's only played now 11 appearances. Like, let's give him some time. I'm not that worried. People can't have it both ways where they say, I want Premier League proven, but then they ignore the other side of that coin where maybe that means on some level, that it takes a bit of time for players to adjust. It could. I don't think that you have to always get Premier League proven to get quality, but again, at the end of the day, it's all down to the player. And so it is what it is, man. Yeah, Amos got himself a goal for Sheffield Wednesday. I think that was his first goal for Sheffield Wednesday. Amos, to be honest, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when I do that other video. He's been actually very, very good for Sheffield Wednesday, despite their financial woes. He's playing as a left wing back. He's doing very, very well. I'm very happy with his progress there. And spoiler alert, his loan actually expires in January, Harry Amos. So he could be back in January. Now, Sheffield Wednesday have an option too, but they didn't do the full season because they're struggling financially. And so we could work something out if we're happy to have him stay and develop. We could bring him back if, we need to, but we'll see how that goes. But he's doing very, very well. Very happy to see that. Yeah, Gore is doing very, very well too. I think people forgot about Dan Gore, but he's doing very, very well. So Williams who's at Falkirk. Yeah, we're going through all of it. Don't worry. I got it all going around. Tabasi says, I think Shesko can turn things around. Nice. Big up. Obi's got ID from the FA and certificates. Nice. Yeah, you could do like the first level or two or so online. And then the rest of them, when you get high, you got to go do them in person and stuff. And obviously they cost a bit of money, but they are fun. You learn a little bit. I enjoy doing them. So not everyone does it. So Debasi sings everybody wanted Ala Watkins. Yeah, I remember when we were doing videos. I did a comparison video when the two choices looked like it was basically Shesko or Watkins. I did a whole deep dive video on both of those guys, compared them and stuff. It's always interesting. You never know, right? You never know. So Obi says Shesko will come good. I like that. He's definitely struggling a bit right now, confidence wise. He's getting in his own head a little bit, like we saw from Hoyland. He's tall. He's got those long legs. I know he's quicker than he looks today. Today he was just moving a little slow, unfortunately. I don't know if he's tired or just a little rusty or what, man. So let's see. Yeah, and he does still have a goal up on Isak. He does have a goal up on it. Yeah, Aroka Dare. Remember we did a scouting report on Aroka Dare. I wanted Pavlidis was my top choice in the summer for striker. He's balling out. He was balling out in the Eredivisie. He's been balling out for Benfica. He's having another good season already. I wanted Pavlidis. He's 26 years old now. Pavlidis, very, very good striker. I think he's an underrated striker personally, but again, just goes to show, you make a decision and it is what it is. So we'll see what happens with Shesko. I'm not too worried about Shesko though, but as far as tactics go, after we saw a little bit of changes today in the starting 11, maybe too many changes. You guys let me know your thoughts on that. But again, tactically, I thought we were too deep, invited pressure a little too much onto ourselves. There's no pressure on the ball. it almost looked like maybe we were content with our and confident maybe in our ability to sit back in numbers, soak up pressure, and then maybe just try to go long after that. It was very Jose Mourinho like at times. Problem is we're just not good enough at that. We're not good when we've got a lot of movement, especially in wide areas. People seem to drop runners. People seem to leave a lot of space. And again, we're not good at clearing the box. I want to see Lamens come off his line in those moments a little bit more. I do think maybe when there's a lot of bodies in front of him, I don't know if he knows like maybe leave them up to it. Maybe I don't know, but I'd like to see him come off his line a little bit more in those moments. But not bad because again, like Matthias Tell's goal again came from passivity. No one put pressure on that ball until Tell already had that first touch to get it out of his feet and take a shot away. That was when De Ligt got tight to him, and by then it was too late. Richarlison's, again, came off of ball watching from a set piece. The ball bounces out to the corner of their box. Everyone's just kind of standing around. And then the last second, Mount goes to put pressure on that ball. But by then, too late. Everyone's too much ball watching, too much playing off the back foot, too much passivity. I honestly thought that Lamens had both shots handled. I thought he was perfectly positioned, but both shots took deflections. Little deflections, but enough to just completely take Lamens out of the game, unfortunately. De Ligt got a little bit of a toe on Matthias Tell's, and then Richarlison's was actually deflected off his shoulder from a shot a little bit outside the box. And so it's hard to do that. If we had a little more pressure on the ball, I think we could have done better than that. People were a little more alert to the danger. Ugarte not being alert again, playing that onside for Richarlison's goal as well. He just didn't look like he knew what he was doing. And you can tell as soon as they scored, Ugarte is the first one putting his hands on his head because he knows he fucked up and did not get back onside or play that offside trap. So it's unfortunate. And just like Forest, it was 2 goals conceded within 5 or 6 minutes of each other because we weren't alert, we weren't switched on, no pressure, no intensity, unfortunately. And Amorim basically said the same thing. He said we were not pressing with the same intensity. We allowed because we felt comfortable, but we need to understand that, but also feel that if we have a little bit more bravery, we can kill this game. I totally agree. I felt like we were just too confident in our ability to soak up that pressure, and you can't just sit back on the back foot and defend the whole time. It's just not. And we've seen clearly one little deflection. This is why I get frustrated when attackers don't shoot. Just shoot, especially if there's congestion in the box. You don't know where that ball is going to go. Don't pass it around the box and wait for the perfect. Just take a shot. Like, it's not that difficult. Clearly, this can be what happens. But it is frustrating. And just 2 shots on target from us today was a little frustrating as well. I thought we were just a little passive when it came to getting that ball forward. Shesko obviously getting in his own head a little bit. And then just, 2 shots on target, not ideal. So let's see what you guys are getting caught up in. Let me get caught back up on the chat. Let's see. Box says, yes, content is what we looked. Little urgency. Yeah, that's what I thought. Just a little passive today. Little switched off like we were against Forest. 2 weeks in a row. I was mad against Forest. Today I'm a little more annoyed because we should have learned from that Forest match, and we didn't. So Danny says, too congested in the middle today. Didn't use width enough. Yeah, I'll put the positions up here in a second so you guys can see where our average positions were today. But yeah, maybe that was just changing up the front, Danny. Like everything, literally the entire front 3 was changed today. Bumo on the left, Ahmad on the right, Cunha in the 9, false 9. Everything was completely changed. The Mizraoui, Dorgu, the whole front 5, if you want to call it a front 5, technically was completely different. And so maybe there was too many changes. Maybe that just threw off the momentum. I don't know. But Rob thinks Bruno was poor again. Let me fix this light. Sorry, guys. There we go. Thought Bruno was poor again. We're going to talk about that. We're going to start with the player ratings here in a second. We're going to start with Sen Lamens. I just want to get caught up on the chat. So Garte's poo. Boxes, Richarlison celebrating like he'd won the World Cup. Yeah, Richarlison's a bit of a joke, though, if I'm honest, man. You could tell he wasn't even, like he was trying to score. He was ducking, and that ball just hit him on the shoulder, and it went in. So, I mean, he'll get credit for it, but what a keeper. Yeah, speaking of, on that note, let's move on as we do our player. What do you give Sen Lamens today on a scale of 9 to 10? So I look at 5 as average. I don't know where people got 6 as average. 5 is average for me. 6 is like average, but you did something well kind of a thing. 7 is like consistent but nothing outstanding. 8 is like you did really, really well. Maybe you were just unlucky not to get a goal or something. 9, you score, you get an assist, you had 2 numbers. 10 is like man of the match level. So that's how I look at it. Everybody starts on 5 and it goes up or down from there for me personally. Shaky to start from Senna Lamens today. He let a ball kind of trickle under his feet to give away an early corner, which just, again, switching off. I thought, though, he eased back into things really quickly. Another day, again, like I said, he can't really do anything about the goals. They were the result of very passive defending and some late deflections. And unfortunately, that's the rub of it sometimes. Obi gives Lamens an 8. Interesting. Danny says gives him a 7.5. He only had 2 saves to make today. We let in 2 goals. I mean, I feel like this is, again, goalkeepers get a bad rap sometimes when we concede goals, but I also feel like sometimes they get too much praise when we have a clean sheet, because if you get a clean sheet and you face 1 shot versus having a clean sheet and you face 10 shots, or even conceding 1 and you face 10 shots, to me the second guy's got a better game. But what are you going to do? So 8, 7.5. Let's see. Rob says a 7 for Lamens. Red Time Welcome says game would have been 3-0 for us if we'd gone for Osherman instead of Shesko. Maybe. I mean, obviously, we never know. Shesko obviously is a very good striker. It seems like maybe the wages were just a bit of a sticking point. I don't know. It is what it is now. But, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I think Shesko was a lot of people's picks. I wanted Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres is a very good striker. I think the fact that he's worked and done well under Amorim, I think that ticked a lot of boxes. But it is what it is. I'm always going to back the signings. Like I said, Shesko wasn't my first choice in the summer, but we back him no matter what. Obi says there was amazing saves, though. At least one of them could have been a goal. Onana would have let both in. Yeah, he made an excellent save with his leg, too. It was like a De Gea kind of save. So, yeah, fair play to him on that one. Really good save. So, Senna Lamens, you guys are saying like 7, 7.58. We'll call it down the middle. We'll call it 7.5. So, good game from Senna Lamens. Nothing really we can do. Didn't really have a whole lot to do, to be honest with you. Luke Shaw. I didn't think that Shaw did anything like bad. Like, I didn't see like mistakes, like high profile errors. So, as far as that goes, it is what it is. But to me, he's kind of part of a collective that was just a little too switched off, and not for the first time. And him being 30 now, I expect a little bit more, because he can show, like, on the ball, he can go on these excellent runs. He can carry the ball up the pitch. He can step in to make a challenge. Just it is what it is. I like that he's taken a little bit more initiative now to try to grab hold of things and make changes. But I do need to see more from him on these set pieces and whatnot. I do think that it's too easy to get the ball in and around our box with these situations. So does really well when we're defending like long balls or something like that. He's good at cutting out that danger, but I need to see more when we're in these kind of hand-to-hand combat, like these melees in and around our box. Danny's giving him a 6, so just slightly above average. Yeah, again, I don't think it wasn't like he made a huge gaffe, like he got an OG or anything. He just wasn't outstanding. Obi's giving him a 6. Debassi's going 6 as well. Everybody's kind of going 6 with Shaw a little bit. I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I'd probably give him like 5 or 6. Wasn't too bad, but just wasn't like outstanding, and I think just collectively at fault for a couple of things, and definitely probably could have done a little bit more. But Maguire, I'm a little bummed about Maguire. A little quiet game from him. I don't know what's going on. If it looked like a hamstring to me, you guys let me know since we've been live if anything's come out in terms of news. Looked like a hamstring, which I hope isn't the issue, because we are not super deep at center back. It's Aiden Heaven, it's Lenny Yoro, it's DeLitt, it's Shaw right now, maybe Mizraoui in a pinch, right? But on the ball, he was fine. All of his long balls were completed. He had 1 cross, which was on target, so it was fine. It just wasn't. I don't think this was the game where you could see the best from Maguire, especially with all the movement in and around. This may have been a better game for Yoro to start right off the bat. Let's see. Slab 6.5 says Danny. Obi says 6. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, on the ball, he was good, but Maguire is actually good on the ball. He's just not super quick, and that's just a thing sometimes. Bices didn't do much 4 or 5, so we'll call it like 5.5, 6-ish for Maguire. Keep getting your thoughts in, you guys, as we go along, because we're going through what's Delit. What about Matthias Delit today from y'all? Obviously, when you score a goal, especially a late equalizer, which seems to be what our center backs are good for, getting us out of trouble. But he did salvage a point for us with some. I thought it wasn't even just that he scored the goal. If you go back and watch that goal, his movement on that set piece, kind of letting Euro kind of draw people in, and then he kind of peeled around the back stick, completely unmarked at that point. And then he showed just really good power, good initiative on the front foot, just put that ball in. Like, that is, to me, makes that goal, is his movement. It'd be very easy for him just to stand there and wait for it. But his movement, without his movement to get to the back stick, that goal doesn't happen. But he and the rest of our defenders, though, again, collectively, chasing shadows a lot. I thought that they weren't doing enough to maybe put a little pressure on the ball. We were just kind of a second late to everything. But his numbers are fine. 4 out of 6 duels, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 clearance. Again, good numbers on the day. I'm just not happy with the defending overall from us today. Danny says an 8 for Delit. Obi says 8 as well. Big up there. Rob was at a 6 for Shaw. Was at a 6 for Delit. Let me know. Dabasi says 7. So we're going right now. We're averaging about a 7.5. Okay, so 8 for him. So maybe like a 7.75 for you guys. Get a goal +1, deflected a goal -1. I got you. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'd rather have a defender try than to just, twerk like Virgil van Dijk and not even bother. But it is what it is. Again, passive on that. Waited a little too long to put pressure on that ball, which is really, it wasn't the deflection, I think, that killed it. It was just very little pressure on the ball personally. But it is what it is. So you guys are going about 8-ish. We'll call it like 7.5 for Delit. Again, I think he's a future captain for United. Delit, I think he has everything in him to be a future captain. I think he's got the mentality, he's got the experience, and this season, like I asked the question last week, is he the best center back in the league? I think he's definitely up there this season for sure, because he's doing an excellent job. Danny says Shaw should have done better. Pushed up to help him. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but I think overall the defense today was just a little, not quite on it 100% today. And I do think that, like I've said many times on the channel, you can get away with 1 or 2 players maybe having an off day, but when everybody kind of seems to just be a little off it, you're generally going to drop points, unfortunately. And so, dude, we were all ball watching, especially for that second goal that they scored. Everybody just standing there. Mount waits so long to go and put pressure on that ball. I mean, fair play to him for actually doing it, but it was just bad, dude. It's so bad. Yeah, we've conceded a lot of goals. It's definitely not ideal. We haven't helped our GD in these last 2 games. Brighton was about the best performance we've had this year in terms of scoring. Obi says, Delit is my current only captain. Licha is a close second, but injury proneness is a worry. Yeah, if Licha can stay fit, I think I could see Delit as captain, Licha maybe as vice captain, and I'd be fine with that personally. It'd be excellent little setup. So you guys are going like 7.5-ish, 8 for Delit. What about Patrick Dorgu today? What are we saying about Patty Dorgu? This is how I feel. Like Lamens to Onana in terms of the night and day difference. I feel like it's night and day when Dorgu was playing left back over Dalot. He's just so much better defending in 1v1 situations. Dorgu won the most duels today. He won 9 duels today. He put pressures on the ball. He limited a lot of the chances that were coming down our left-hand side. The basics of defending. This is why I say like Lamens to Onana, because basics, but he does the basics well, and it's because he's not passive. He gets to the ball, but I think that, again, he's raw. I'm not saying he's world-class. I'm not saying he's a guaranteed starter, but when it comes to him versus Dalot, I feel that Dorgu is so much better than Dalot personally. Danny's going ahead with a 6.5. What do we see here? Dabasi giving him a 7, 6.5 from Obi as well. I think Dorgu had a fine game personally. Rob says 7, like having him on the pitch. Yeah, he's getting there. You'd want maybe someone like the left back I pointed out the other day in that video to maybe come in and hold down that starting spot. Dalot just got to go. He really just have to go, man. Dalot needs to go to like La Liga, maybe go to like Atletico or something. Maybe we can try to convince Real Madrid to take him. They're playing Valverde at right back. That, I think, is killing them because putting Valverde at right back is a complete waste, personally. Um, but who knows? I think Dallo could do well where he gets to just be a fullback, but he's just too bad in this situation, man. Obi says if 5 is average, then when you do well, it's about a 6.57 max. Hey, got the rationale out, make it happen. Box says Dorgu's too inexperienced at the moment. Final ball is lacking. Yeah, and he'll get there, hopefully, right? Obviously, you never know because it just happens sometimes. But starting to think maybe he wasn't brought in to be the starting guy week in, week out because, Dallo's still here. And as soon as Dallo got Lindelof's number, I kind of figured Dallo, like, for some reason, Amorim rates him. I don't buy into the whole favoritism because they're related thing. I doubt they even knew maybe they were fully related, but haters going to hate. It is what it is. Danny wants to send him to Sporting. Do you think he would go to Sporting? Because we got him from Porto, right? I mean, I don't think there's loyalty in football anymore, but you never know. I don't even know what Sporting play. Does Sporting still do a 3 at the back, or have they changed things now that Amorim is gone? They were struggling a bit to start. Tabasi thinks Dogu can be our Nuno Mendes in a few years. Remember, Amorim was the one who worked with Nuno Mendes at Sporting before he went to PSG. Amorim likes working with young defenders, so we'll see what he can do. I think he's going to be fine. Like Obi says, I think he'll be a beast. Just as long as he keeps developing, we manage him correctly, and then obviously with good coaching. I mean, he needs to put some extra time in on the training pitch to work on that crossing, though, for sure, which is something I think Dallo should have done a long time ago, but he hasn't. So what about Mazraoui? What are we thinking about Mazraoui these days? I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think that Mazraoui was out of action simply because he got hair plugs. I think that maybe he just took some time off to go work on that. I know he had some personal family stuff early in the season, but I'm starting to worry that he took some time out because he got hair plugs. He's got some rust to shake off, though, for sure. Mazraoui, you can tell just a little less match fit. This is why that subs are important. We have to keep people rotated, and we need people match fit because we have to make a sub, or when you want to rotate, people have to be fit. He was the first substitution made today, around 50 some odd minutes, 58 minutes, I want to say. So clearly not quite match fit. It is what it is, but not bad today. 4 out of 5 duels was good, but you could definitely tell there was some rust there. Obi says 6 for Maz. Dabasi says 6 for Maz as well. Roger Fernandez, yeah, I knew one of those guys went to the Saudi League. I just couldn't remember who it was because we were linked to a few. Franca, I think, went to Roma. Quenda, obviously, is going to Chelsea soon. So, and Roger Fernandez as well. We've got some players in the academy, though, some young right backs, and really they could play right wing back very, very easily. That we'll talk about when I do my video. We've got guys like Montato, Camison, Overy, who just got called up to the senior Australia squad as well. James Overy, I think that, and they're all like older than Quenda too. So I'm not worried. I wasn't too eager to go spend money on Giovanni Quenda when we have these other guys in the academy. Rob's giving Matt a 6. Happy to have him back. Yeah, 6 is fine. Didn't do anything poor. Decent numbers. Then he says 5.5, 6 just. Yeah, we'll go 6 on Mazraoui. All right, be gentle. Let's not spam the hate. Bruno Fernandes. Let me guys what you think about. Don't get me started on this guy, man. I did a scouting report on him a couple months back at Porto. Very, very good young right back. I did a scouting report on Thiago Santos a while back as well. Very good young right back. Kyrian Isabe, I did one on as well. There's some good fullbacks out there as well. I've done a lot recently. Dan's giving Bruno a 6. I felt like there were times today where Bruno, when it came to 50-50s, it didn't look like he was trying to control that ball. Like, it didn't look like he was trying to win the 50-50 and keep the ball. He just kept swinging his leg at it. And most of the time he just missed and then completely took himself out of the equation. I think he could have helped out a little bit more in midfield with a little bit more. I think he was getting frustrated. I think he was starting to kind of revert to type a little bit. But honestly, today that's splitting hairs because he's been fine. I mean, I know we've all been crying out for some more positional discipline from Bruno, but I felt like today it was a little too much discipline. It was a little too careful, a little too cautious, a little too respectful of Spurs, and I do think he played a role in that. Now there were times where he and everyone else were trying to swarm the ball, and it left us a little open. Again, that makes me feel like that's tactical, because I can't imagine everyone's just going to all of a sudden start going crazy and trying to like do a crazy mosh pit around the ball. But just one chance created from Bruno, but he did have an assist. So, I mean, we can't complain too much about that. His passing was good today. His long ball stats were very, very good. So, as that quarterback, Bruno is doing just fine. It just wasn't his best game. Definitely wasn't as bad as he was early in the season, like against Arsenal. He's our worst player on the pitch. Danny's giving him a 6. Debasi's giving him a 6 as well. Yeah, I mean, he got the assist, like Buck says. Debasi's assist got him a 1+1, so 6. Rob's going 5. Let's see. Obi's going 5 as well. Yeah, he's definitely, and a two-man midfield, and this is where we were talking earlier, Danny, at Bill's house, Justin and DeVille and I were talking, like, Casemiro is fine. He's doing much better. In a three-man midfield, like a 4-3-3 or 3-5-2, Casemiro could probably look even better, but it's entirely different notion to come in and play a two-man midfield. You've got to do more. And even at Madrid, when you've got Toni Kroos and Luka Modric next to you, it's an entirely different situation. So Bruno will probably do really well as an 8 in a 4-3-3 like he does in Portugal, or in a 3-5-2, which is what I would like us to play if we're going to go 3 at the back. But in a two-man midfield where two people are kind of splitting the load of 3 people, it does take a special kind of midfielder. And that doesn't mean Bruno is bad. He's just not a natural kind of 8 in a two-man midfield, in a 3-4-2-1. It's not, and no one's bad. It's not a great fit. And that's why I've always said, when we're looking at players assigned, you can't just look at the player. You have to look at the system, the tactics, how people play. I mean, we play completely different systems under Ollie than we do now, or under Ten Hag. And some players look good in those systems. Some players struggle when new systems. It's all about the tactics more than it is just about the quality of player. It really is. You can have an excellent midfielder, but you throw them in this two-man midfield right now where they have to do a lot. It's a totally different ball game. Well, technically, we did replace him. We got Ugarte. That was the whole. Do you not remember that? We had to sell him to get Ugarte. So, which probably will make you more annoyed when you think about it that way. I don't know if it helps looking at it that way, Obi, but when we sold McTominay to get Ugarte, and so it is what it is. Yeah, I don't think Manu suits it either, but again, 3-5-2 box, Casemiro deep, Bruno as an 8, Manu as an 8. I think that midfield would cook right now. You can rotate Šeško in a little bit. You've got Mbeumo and Cunha kind of playing the front 2 situation. I think it works personally, but I'm not the manager. So, yeah, it was a bit of a shambles. Yeah, say what you want about Ten Hag. His talent identification was not great, unfortunately. He was still operating on like an Ajax level when, I'm not saying just sign Galacticos, but I'm saying we could do a little better in some cases. But who Arte? That's what I'm saying. So Bruno, not bad, just not his best game today. It is what it is. Casemiro, what are we thinking from Casemiro today? So Amorim said after the match that Casemiro had to come off. Don't know if he just couldn't hang. Maybe it's a fitness thing. Maybe if he just can't play that long anymore, or if he got a knock or something. Do not know, but I thought he was having a fine game. I mean, 4 tackles, not dribbled past very often, maybe like once or twice. His numbers, his passing into the opposition half, into the final third, long balls, it was all good. It's just one of those games where it just not, maybe the midfield just didn't look good today, and I think that was mainly just because of the opposition. I think Spurs, just the way they play, just doesn't make us look that good. Thomas Frank has started off just getting their defense kind of rock solid, which he did. And then I feel like it just didn't suit Casemiro a little bit, but it wasn't bad at all. Obi said 6.5. Yeah, I thought he did fine personally. Just our midfield just seemed to struggle a little bit today. Casemiro 6 or 7. So yeah, most of you guys are going 6.5. Casemiro. It's funny. I've seen some channels when you do play rating, they don't like the half ratings. I don't have a problem with half ratings, y'all. If you want to put like 6.4 to the nth power repeating, go for it. It doesn't matter to me. But most of you guys are going 6.5 for Casemiro. I'm happy with 6.5. means, he did good, just, didn't do anything spectacular. It's hard to improve on what he did the other day, though, because that goal the other day was a thing of beauty against the other day. So Tabasi says, can't believe I'm saying it. Casemiro is the best CM we have. Casemiro is arguably the best center midfielder in the league right now. If you're looking at goals, he's got 3 goals and assists. He's got most goals of any center midfielder in the league this season already. So he's having a very good season. He's probably the fittest he's ever been. The problem is you're still older, and so even the fittest you've ever been when you're 33 is not. It's still going to be not great compared to like when you're 27 or something, unfortunately. And so then he says, if we had Anderson today, we'd be comfortably ahead by halftime. Yeah, we need to go. I'm not saying that I want to spend $100 million on Anderson, but Anderson needs to be the top priority going into the summer, and then we get that done first. Whatever we need to do, if we want to sell Cobby to Forest, if Cobby's going to throw a tantrum because he wants to go to World Cup, that's fine. I don't care. Maybe we can see if we can offload Ugarte and do a little make way. Who's Ugarte plus 50 million for Anderson. Take him. Like I'd be fine with that personally, but I'm not saying spend 100 million on Anderson, but we need to make that the priority. But Casemiro, not bad, 6.5. I'll take it. Ahmad, how are we doing about Ahmad? Lined up on that right 10. What are your thoughts on that? I know some of us, when Amorim was signed, we did a whole video on where Ahmad was going to play in this system. A lot of you guys said right wing back. A lot of you said the 10. I think that either or is pretty fine. I think he and Mbeumo developed a nice little system, a little kind of link up in the last several weeks. I don't know why we changed that up today. I thought maybe if we're going to change anything up, maybe put Mazraoui on that left-hand side. I don't know, man. But he got an assist, so there's that. I love that he presses the opposition a lot when they are in their own half. He's not great at tracking back because he's not super fast, but he will not give the opposition fullback a whole lot of time on the ball. And more often than not, he's won that ball, and he's actually got quite a few goals because of it as well. He's very good at that. So made 3 tackles today. His cross for Mbeumo's goal was perfect. I was literally yelling at the TV when he was on the ball to put that in the back stick. I'm glad that he did. I'm glad that Spurs just had 2 players on him, but they were just standing there and doing like Virgil van Dijk's impressions. He had all the time in the world to just put that ball back there. So happy he did that. What you guys saying here? Danny says 7 for Ahmad. I'll take 7. 7's decent. Tabasi says 6 to 7. I mean, he got the assist. I'm going 7 because I thought he did pretty well today. Danny says Sir Jim needs to pound 80 bags on the table in January. Yeah, make it happen. Like I asked you guys earlier, would you sell Cobby in January if you could get Anderson? One of you guys said yes. Franz, welcome to the channel. Ahmad gets an 8. It's high praise. I like that. Obi says 6.5. Yeah, he is a 10. He's not a right wing back. I think he's definitely a right winger. He's definitely not a right wing back. But on today's match, though, I mean, I thought he did just fine. He's just, because he's not a wing back, kind of like because Bruno's not a 6, the system doesn't get the best out of him. But I do think that in the last month or so, especially in October, Ahmad and Mbeumo were like in sync, man. Bye, in sync. Get it done. So could have done better for that cross. Yeah, maybe. A solid 7, says Rob. 7 for Obi. 7. Yeah, everybody's kind of giving him 7, so we'll do that. 7 for Ahmad, not bad. Who is your man of the match, by the way, as we go through? When we get to your man of the match, members, you have a man of the match emoji in there if you want to go look at it. You guys can let me know who your man of the match was. It doesn't show up on the one thing. It does show up on Liverpool or on the main screen, though. Mbeumo. How is everyone doing and feeling about Mbeumo? Tobias says too small for a right wing back, but he's got a big heart. He's very good on the ball, Ahmad. The ball sticks to him. He's just not super powerful. He's not super quick. And he's definitely not a defender. So he does get caught out a bit, but that's because he's not a defender. So I don't have a problem with that. But Brian Mbeumo got himself another goal today. Like I said, a lot of fans were not happy with him being played on the left-hand side, especially when we made that switch, taking Cunha off, bringing on Chesko. I just felt like maybe Amorim should have put things back to normal when we made that change. Mbeumo, if you look at his numbers, he was not great in his 1v1s, his both carrying the ball, his duels, but it felt like he was more getting on the end of things than anything today. But took his goal well, thought it was a really good cushioned header. placed it perfectly, good positioning. I do think that the poor defending from Spurs played a big part in that goal, but I'm not going to split hairs, like I said personally. Fran says De Ligt's going to be his man of the match. Big up. Yeah, De Ligt was on point, but I do think Mbeumo was good. Ahmad, it's hard, right? I love when we have a hard time picking one personally. Obi gives Mbeumo an 8. Big up. Danny's giving him an 8 as well. Is that the highest rating we've had so far for is Mbeumo with an 8? Maybe De Ligt. I don't remember what you guys gave De Ligt, but Rob says 7.5 mainly for the goal. Well, we got high praise here from Franz and Mbeumo, 8.5. Could have got a hat trick if Cunha and Bruno laid off very good chances. Yeah, I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? I think we've said that a few times, especially in recent weeks. You know, Šeško maybe had just gotten his shot away early. We could have had a couple goals. He had that same situation. I think it was against Liverpool, right? Was when maybe it was against Brighton. Ball came down. I don't think he expected that ball to come down to him in that match, and just it is what it is. So I'd like to see a little bit more ruthlessness from Šeško, a little bit more just basics, one touch, take the shot, but it is what it is. Obi says, Lamens made 2 winning saves, but let 2 goals in. So didn't keep a clean sheet. De Ligt and Mbeumo got a goal, so it's between Mbeumo and De Ligt. De Ligt deflected first goal. So I like the logic. You went on a little bit of a thought map there to get there, but I applaud the effort for that one. Speaking of Cunha, so you guys are going like 8. I'll give him an 8 as well. Speaking of Cunha, what do you guys make of Cunha? A little bit of an off game for him, I thought, which is going to happen now and then. It just is. I just thought that not great in his 1v1s. Similar to Mbeumo, it just seems like Spurs were a little bit more physical. A little bit anonymous at times. You could tell he was getting a little bit frustrated. Playing him as the false 9 has worked in the past. The experiment did not pan out today, unfortunately. It is what it is. Again, no Šeško was a bit of an interesting choice. And then again, I know some of you guys don't rate Xerxes, but if you look at it, if you zoom out a little bit and wonder why is Xerxes long for this world when it comes to United? Because Xerxes on the bench. Apparently he's fit, but instead of maybe bringing him on instead of Šeško, we opt to move Cunha around. We opt to move Mbeumo over. We opt to move Ahmad over. We're moving a lot of different parts instead of just maybe a simple straight up swap Xerxes for Šeško. Now, they're not the same player, but if you're playing a false 9 anyway, that's kind of what Xerxes is. Interesting, but what do you make of Cunha? Danny's giving him a 6 today. Yeah, I didn't think he had his best game, personally. Yeah, I do agree. I said that a couple times. He does hold on to the ball a little too long. I mean, he's very good at it in the channels, in the wide areas. It's just sometimes in and around the box. I'd like to see him pass it a little bit more, but it is what it is. Obi says Cunha is 5, so we got a 5, we got a 6, we got a 6.5. Yeah, sometimes I feel like when we know a player is better and they have an off game, we can be a little frustrated about it. Rob says quiet game, needs to be attacking mid to get back from. So about 6 for you guys seems to be the average here for you guys. So 6 for Cunha. All right, so the highest rated player so far has been Mbeumo, which seems to be a lot of people's man of the match. What about Ruben Amorim today? Because a lot of people are going in on him for some of the substitutions, which you have a whole squad. You have to be able to rely on your whole squad. It's just like making signings, just like a lot of other things. You should be able to bring on some subs and maybe not worry too much. Unlucky, I thought, to see Šeško pull up with an injury, left us with 10 men after we made all our subs. Do you think maybe managers should always keep a sub on hand just in case? Do you feel like it's just one of those things that is a freak situation? You can't exactly plan for everything. What do you think of the way we defended today, the way we pressed today? Was that an Amorim thing? Was that the players kind of being switched off? I mean, Amorim has made comments about it a couple times now, the way we switched off against Forest, the lack of pressure on the ball. He said that in his pre-match presser, that they were working on that a little bit. He just said it today again. We're not putting enough pressure on the ball. So I doubt that that's Amorim telling everybody, hey, just sit in the box. Like, that's the players maybe not feeling super comfortable. The midfield a little open at times today. Is that an Amorim thing? Is that the players? Who knows? Where does the line draw between this is the players and this is Amorim? Like, it's impossible to know. We're not in training. We're not in their head. We don't know what's going to. I thought the team shape was pretty solid. It reflected kind of what we were set out to do. You can see we've got a back 3. The midfield kind of four, the Casemiro and Bruno. Bruno kind of slightly ahead of Casemiro, which is probably normal. Wingbacks, and then the front three. So that was the average position of us today. So again, positionally, the shape was pretty much what you expect to see from everybody, right? So um, I don't see what else is there. Did Amorim maybe change too much today after he literally just said he was afraid to change too much? We remember he said that the other week. He doesn't always like to make a whole lot of changes because he doesn't want to ruin things. Well, today it was like almost the exact opposite. Is that him kind of responding to criticism? Maybe he kind of likes Shesko. Maybe it's getting to him a little bit. And usually when he makes subs, it's just like defenders. Our bench is not as deep as I thought. Like I said, Ugarte, Mount, Shesko, Dallo. I mean, they're coming on. I thought Mount didn't do super hot. Ugarte, a little rusty. Shesko, not too confident. Dallo is just doing Dallo things. Let's see what you guys are saying about Amorim. So Obi says, I back Amorim. He's getting results. 11 points of 15 is improvement. But Dallo and Ugarte cost us, in my opinion. But what other options does Amorim have? I solely blame the board, not Amorim. Yeah, Dallo thing is interesting because obviously we can look at him and say he's not the best player, but most managers we've had aside from like Ollie have started him. And Jose signed him. Ten Hag started him left like all the time. Amorim starting him like all the time. It's kind of like what people complained about Ugarte and or McTominay and Fred for the longest time, but everybody started him. So Obi says 6 because of the subs. What we got here? We got a quote here from Brian Mbumo. He says, we knew that it was going to be hard in the second half. Obviously, they were going to push. So I think we still have work a bit on the goals we conceded. Yeah, they do keep switching off. I've said this for the last 2 weeks now, man. It's annoying, man. But what do you guys rate Ruben Amorim on the day? Do you see enough today? Were the decisions good? Was the team selection to start? Was it good? I think personally that he changed a little too much to start. And I think that to me hurt. I think today I'd probably give him a 5 just because one of the biggest criticisms I've had for Amorim since he got here has been team selection and substitutions. And today I think it was back to today. I don't know if this is a backward trend. Like I don't think this is him going back to that. I just think that today was another highlight of maybe some of the decisions were just a little too much unnecessary. I don't know. I get the fine line between wanting to keep everybody fit, but at the same time, Ugarte is not that guy. Mount, it is what it is. Mount's had some really good performances for us. He's scored some great goals in the last couple months, but I do think that Mount probably needs to be moved on in the summer. If we can find a way to maybe move him on and get someone better, we'll see. But we need some depth in there. Danny says it's a 5 for Amorim. That's probably what I said too. Franz is giving him a 7. Okay, a little bit well above average there. Rob's giving him a 6. No, Franz says 5. That's a big jump from 5. So a couple of 5s and a 6. No, I get it. I will praise him though for again. It's another day where we did fight back. It's just another day where like the heart was there, which I've seen up, but the head is still just not quite following suit. Unfortunately, still too switched off at times. So 5, 6 for Amorim. I think that we'll be praying that Sesko, Casemiro, and Maguire, whatever injuries, whatever knocks they picked up, we'll be praying that those aren't too serious. Amorim sort of hinted that Shesko's knee could be bad. We'll wait and see. You never know. It does look like Shesko's struggling for confidence. So we'll see how it goes. I give players time, but overall fan base and really football in general is not always as patient as I am. And at United, we can't afford to carry underperformers for too long. It is a bit of a sink or swim situation, especially when you're the starting striker. And again, like Højlund, it's not fair necessarily that he's young, he's new to the league, and he's in that situation. It's not entirely fair, but it is what it is. Life isn't fair sometimes. I'm not saying I'm writing him off. You guys know I'm patient. It's a friendly reminder for him to figure it out, for Amorim to figure it out. So it's another goal for Mbumo. 5 goals for him this season. 5 games unbeaten for us, so we're 7th. We could have gone 2nd with a win, but it is what it is. Again, I thought we did better than we did last season in this fixture, to be fair. I think last season we probably don't win this one. Again, like I said, against Spurs. We showed fight, though. We didn't back down. just too passive in key moments, too switched off in a couple key moments. And like I said last week, it's fine margins. All it takes is a couple moments of not being switched on, and you concede 2 goals. We saw that last week. We saw it today. And so that it needed to be a lesson learned last week. It did not look like it was. Again, it's those fine margins. Just a few seconds can have big consequences. But between second place and 10th place in the league, though, there's just a 4-point gap. And so there's 5 teams on 18 points, for instance. I think it's City on 19, 5 teams on 18, and then a couple on 17. So it is very, very close despite being 10 games into the season. So interesting stuff. What is the guy saying in this poll here? Let me check and see. So far, 35% of you say it's a fair result. 35% say that errors were costly. And 29% say we got lucky to get a point. And so I'm going to end that poll now. So thank you guys for voting. And like I said, anybody on Hayden Hackney watch, he scored a silky goal, made it 2-1. What did they end up doing in the rest of that game? Because I know they played the second half while we were live. Let me just go check and see what they done. They end up beating that. So Hackney scored the winner today. So Hayden Hackney watch, anyone else who's on permanent Hayden Hackney watch like I am, he scored the winner today. So pick up Hayden Hackney. Let me just update this table. Yeah, we're still in 7th right now. So West Ham beat Burnley 3-2. Everton beat Fulham 2-0. Sunderland and Arsenal are still 0-0 right now. I'm going to go watch some of that. Chelsea play Wolves later. Dude, can you imagine if Wolves somehow beat Chelsea? That would be amazing. Obi says, Maguire is a loss too because we play 3 at the back. Yeah, like I said, Maguire, hopefully it's not serious because we're not too deep right now, but we'll see how it goes. Fran says, we dropped points last 2 games. Will the points gap be like this a month or 2 down the line, though? Missed opportunity. Arsenal will be hoping that the points gap stays like this because that just means they just keep putting together runs. Now, we do have a good little run of opposition, not to be disrespectful, but it is an easier, after statistically the toughest start to the league, we do have a decent run of games. I'd like to see us get maximum points. We'll take a look at that a little later on in the international break because we got 2 weeks. So keep a lookout for another scouting report. Keep a lookout for, obviously, the kickabout coming up. Keep a lookout for the Big Academy and Loan Watch video that I'm coming out. So I'll be doing a deep dive on how all our youngsters are doing in the academy and how all the youngsters that are out on loan have been doing, looking at profile performances. Are they ready? Could they be the next players? We'll look at all that in that big video. So if you're big on the youngsters, you're big on the academy, be sure to tune in for that one. But until tomorrow, so you guys know, tomorrow I'll come back. We'll do my 3 big takeaways from this match, and we'll look a little bit more at some of the statistics and whatnot. But we'll do that tomorrow. But excellent stream today, you guys. Please make sure you like the video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Share it. Check out the memberships as well. It's the best way to get involved. Like if you've got suggestions, Obi, for scouting reports, being a starting 11 or a Legends member does give you access to do that. There is a special pinned or a comment in the community tab where starting 11 and Legends members can leave their suggestions because I can't guarantee that I'm going to remember everyone when you're posted if you do it in the live chat. So go check out the United vs. Everybody store too as well. There's the link is pinned in the comments if you guys want to go get some one-of-a-kind gear that's not expensive and doesn't go towards the Glazers and it celebrates the club. You've got women's clothes, kids' clothes in there. There's onesies, lots of hoodies, lots of t-shirts. There's some beanies, coffee mugs like the Fergie Time coffee mug that you guys see me drinking out of all the time. Go check that out, you guys. Until next time, see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I will talk to you guys on the next one. Later.